y'all. This is Dr. Martha Durham. I'm here with another episode of Why Did They Do That, which is a podcast. I'm a psychologist here in Greenville, South Carolina, and I am so excited to have my very good friend Diane Jeter here. She is a local entrepreneur, fabulous mom, great friend who knows a whole lot about reality television. Diane, welcome.
Thank you. That's a scary thing, isn't it?
What, reality television?
That I know a lot about it.
I do too. I think
we all do,
We're products of this background that we've had.
It's just the society we live in today, right?
Yes. Well, and I think that's a really important thing. Why do people love reality TV? Why do you think that is?
You know what? I think it's an escape. I think a lot of things. They see it as a life that they perhaps would like to live.
Correct.
Or they see it as a life that I really don't want to be in that position. And my life's pretty good like it is.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Like the old soap operas. We've talked about that before.
We did, yeah.
Like back in the day when it was a drama.
Yeah.
It wasn't real. I don't know if reality TV is real, but we think it is. You would follow along those storylines. Right. It was interesting. It took you away from the life you were living.
It was an escape. It was an escape into someone else's life. And then the drama, and like you said, and the anticipation of what's coming next, and just following along in someone else's life. In those days, I remember with my grandmother, I watched Days of Our Lives in General Hospital. And that was the time when I would watch her stand and iron the clothes, and we would be in front of the television and, 1 o'clock every afternoon.
Watching your
stories. That's right. Yeah. Watching the stories. And now it's kind of transformed into things that are sometimes not so nice in those types of fields as far as reality TV and what we're watching. And maybe it's not an escape, but it's also what we look at as a lesson. And I have also kind of discovered throughout all of this that reality TV is not necessarily watching women fight. Right. Or a bunch of people being thrown into a house and seeing, who's going to hook up with whom while this all goes on. It also has different categories. I mean, let's look at The Amazing Race, which is, fun.
I love that.
Yes, and it's filled with anticipation. And
it's competitive.
Yes.
They're athletes.
Yes, and my sister and I used to always talk about, we would love to do this because she's the adventurous one. I'm the one that's going to sit back and think about how are we going to get there. And she's going to be like, let's just...
and Diane on The Amazing Race. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, but, not now. I don't think I could do it now, but it looked like a lot of fun at the time. Right. So there are many different avenues of reality television. So
Survivor's another one like that.
Yes.
And that was one of the earlier ones. Yeah. And I don't even know what season they're on.
I have no idea. Like 4,000, it seems like.
Yes. And, you knew the people, you watched the manipulation and the strategy. It was really an interesting show. I don't watch it so much anymore. I don't know why. I guess I'm busy.
Yeah.
But
I haven't seen it in a long time, but you think about that. That's a testament to the longevity of that show.
Yes.
That people do like to see things in real time, in real life, even if it's... I guess a stretch would be to relate it to watching sports on television.
Yeah, for sure.
Real time, real life, what's happening in someone's life. Because the storylines, even from, let's say, from an NFL perspective of on the field, and then you're following along with those athletes and those coaches and those fans of what's happening in real life. So
well, and what's kind of cool about those competitive reality TV shows is you get to know the characters just like you would on the old dramas. You get to watch their failures, their successes. You get to start hating some, loving some, rooting for some. I mean, it's like life.
It is. And then I found myself back in the day when the very first, all of those, I guess the Housewives and all of those types of things.
The Real World, I think, is one of the first ones.
Yeah. And I found myself entertained by all of that. Yeah. But then. Yeah. As they began to take a darker turn, it's been a really long time since I've viewed any of that type of thing because I felt like there was so much toxicity that was coming from that screen into daily life because people were comparing themselves to that. And, even in the world that I'm in all the time with women in fashion, you find women constantly saying, well, this is not good for me. This is not right for me. My body, this. And they see that on the screen, and it's a reflection not only of how they feel physically, but emotionally and mentally, and even spiritually, how they feel watching. all of that.
So what's cool that you're talking about is you're choosing not to have that toxicity in your life.
Yes.
And I agree with that. I got really turned off when everyone's glorifying someone fighting,
Yes.
like unfair fighting, cat fighting,
Right.
flipping tables over, calling each other names. You know, we don't want that. And when those people become famous and glorified for that, I don't do well with that.
Right. Bring back classy, elegant women. That's what we need.
Yes.
Right.
Speaking of that, I'm going to give you a plug.
Oh.
So Diane and her daughters
Yes.
started a business.
Yes.
Used to be called Faux Beauty.
That's right.
This is why you're talking about women and caring about how women feel. It's now called Caroline Vieira. You've rebranded. You've got a new store.
It's beautiful.
And it sounds like you really care about women caring about themselves. Not only how they look, but what they think of themselves and how they interact.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And what is important to make all of us feel comfortable in our own skin, because we can put on, you know, a pretty piece of jewelry, we can put on a beautiful jacket, but unless we feel good about ourselves, and that is a direct, you know, an indirect relation to what we put into our brains.
Yes.
And
Agreed.
that's your job.
Yes.
You know, what comes into the brain goes into the soul.
Well, what I used to say is you create your universe with your thoughts and your mind.
Yeah.
And I think at some level that is true. And I do teach people to pay attention to their thinking. You can change your thinking. I think you bring up something else, and not everybody has a belief system, but we have a spiritual belief system.
Yeah.
And that's also very important.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you have to be a Christian,
Right.
but just some belief in something bigger than the human experience.
Yes.
Because as humans, I think we can be kind of rotten.
Yeah.
You know, we can also be beautiful and do beautiful things, but if you don't have sort of some grounding in something.
That's exactly right. There has to be a goal, and there has to be a marker that shows you what is good and what is right in life. So,
when we've talked before about reality television, one of the things that we've talked about is the morals and things and how those have changed. And one show that I think about a lot, no offense, don't get mad at me, The Bachelor or 90 Day Fiance or these house shows like Big Brother. I think there's any number of them where you get a lot of hooking up with different people. Or, you know, I'm dating 5 or 10 women or 5 or 10 men.
Like, what is that all about?
What is that, right? And it's a real shift from our age group.
Yes.
We're women of a certain age.
Right.
And I know the younger folks, especially I'd say 30 on down, maybe it's a little bit older, they feel a lot different than we do about sex, about hooking up, about dating. So I want to be careful. I'm not saying that you're wrong and we're right.
Yeah.
But there's something for me that kind of cheapens human relationships if you're making them like that.
Yeah. No, I absolutely would agree with that. That everybody, you're here to live your own life.
Yeah.
And do what you want to do.
Right.
But I think that the quality of your life versus the quantity of what you do in your life.
And we're talking about hookups and relationships maybe. Yeah.
Right. Should be important and should be first and foremost, you know, in your life. So
So there's some real science behind it. I know science is up in the air for some people who believes in science, who knows what science is, but I'm going to tell you some science, y'all. When women have sex and have an orgasm, this is not a children's show, y'all, they release a chemical called oxytocin. Okay? And oxytocin is the same chemical that breastfeeding moms release. So it's a bonding chemical. So a woman has sex and she will bond if she's releasing that chemical to who she had sex with. Okay? It just is. It's just true. Men don't release that chemical, and so they don't bond. So if you're out having sex for women with a lot of men, do your thing. I'm not judging you. You might be getting your heart broken over and over again, or you might feel bad about yourself over and over again because to you that felt bonded. And the guy, maybe not.
Yeah.
And so for me, what I say to women is, you know, I'm not sex shaming. I'm saying keep that as something special with people that you really do like them as a human being because you might release that chemical. What do you think about that?
Well, you know, I mean, like that took a left turn because I wasn't that was new. But that's good information, you know, and I believe everything that you're saying to me because you do see that women are so much more in general and in theory, emotionally connected.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just...
Well, we're also raised, so there's a cultural aspect of what you're saying. Women are trained to be a certain way. There's also, I think, a genetic component to that, but we're the caregivers, the nurturers. We take care of things, maybe too much. We put too much on us, but I think that's what you're talking about.
But, you know, I think proof of that is if you do go back, and let's just tie that back to the reality TV situation. I don't recall ever seeing a gentleman, young guy, in a, you know, crying about, well, I got my, you know, she broke my heart, I've got my face. But the girls, 100%.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I really do think it's that biological thing I'm talking about. Some of my sciencey friends, if you want to fight with me about that later, go ahead and we'll call you on. And again, I'm not putting anybody down for their choices. No. You know, if you live a long life and maybe you've gone through some breakups or you've gotten divorced, yes, you're probably going to have sex with more than, you know, a man or two. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just, guard that is all I'm saying, and not in a moralistic way.
No.
And so in these shows, what happens is it's almost glorified not to.
That's right. I would absolutely agree with that. Absolutely. And that just goes to show that these TV episodes are leading people into a direction on how you should live your life.
Right.
And then we look at it and think, oh, well, that's how they live.
Yes.
You know, that's okay for me to relate my life to that.
Yes.
My life to that. So,
what's your favorite reality TV show right now?
I don't get to watch too much right now.
She's kind of busy, y'all.
Kind of busy, but you know, Well, I'm going to tell you this. I haven't watched the episodes of it so much, but I'm watching it back on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I've never been a huge fan. Liked it, but the Dancing with the Stars.
Oh yeah. That's another one of those kind of athletic ones.
It is, but it also has the relation back to the reality TV because a couple of the girls that were on this particular season were from the Mormon housewives.
Oh, wow.
Situation.
Oh, look at that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Whitney Levitt and the, I think her name was Jen Affleck, you know, and beautiful girls, family girls, and just phenomenal athletes when it came to dance.
Yeah.
Just absolutely gorgeous and did such a wonderful job. So, and that brings us right back into the fact that this was an athletic type situation.
Yeah.
But it also derived for them from the show that they were on that gave them that opportunity. So.
Yeah. You bring up something that I find interesting. A lot of these reality TV stars have actually been on multiple shows.
Oh, for sure.
Like The Great Race. Some of these house shows like Big Brother, Big Sister. And I think we've talked, I don't think there's a Big Sister. I think that's an organization for kids, y'all. And it's a very worthy organization. Yeah. You mentioned before when we were talking, somebody from the Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah.
Who then, tell me about that.
Yeah, well, the little Tom Sandoval, who was the bartender, and they opened the Tom, restaurant there in, I think they were in West LA, and then ended up on America's Got Talent, with his band,
Right.
And also, too, I noticed a couple of weeks ago, there was a Netflix show that I had been watching, because there's a lot of reality TV on Netflix as well. And they were discussing, what was the show? Somebody on there was talking, it was one of the characters on Love is Blind.
Yes.
And in their little, their little interviews that they were doing, that one of the individuals mentioned that they had all been contacted to be cast on another reality dating show. So we need to be careful that, maybe some of them aren't in it for the right reason, but some of them are in it for the fame and glory. God bless you if that's what you're looking for.
Well, you know what else I think? I think this is a way to earn a living as an actor.
Yes.
Which then calls into question the reality of some of these things.
The reality of the reality show.
Right. And I mean, it's okay. I would just like full disclosure.
Sure.
I would want to know. You made me think about something, and this is happening right here for some of the show, Love on the Spectrum.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in my field. So this is love with folks who have what we call ASD, which is autistic spectrum disorder. We used to have one category of that called Asperger's. People might be familiar with that. And that show has actually done a whole bunch to help people understand autism. And some of those young people have become famous. Yeah. Like my son sent me a picture. He's like, I'm in Clemson, and I can't remember the name of the young man. But he's like, I got a picture of this young man.
Yeah.
And that was really useful because you have this young guy, my son, who thinks it's great.
Yeah.
And so it takes away some stigma. from that, and it humanizes.
Right.
You know.
There's another, it used to be, the network is called TLC, and you know, it used to be the Learning Channel, right? And so I think it's kind of, I'm not sure there's all learning on there now, but nonetheless, there are shows on there. There's one called, what was that young lady's name? Braylon is her first name, and she has Tourette's. So it goes through her life of an everyday situation, and it's very educational because like what you're saying on this Life on the Spectrum, you know, these shows are reality shows. These are families in real life every day, traveling to conferences and taking you through what it's like to be in a relationship, and especially with a young lady who has Tourette's, who is blurting out things that she cannot control. And then it goes further to show the medicine behind that and how they are working to, you know, give her some relief and some control over her own life. So
I love those because that's my field, and that helps destigmatize some things that people have going on. So I love that. The psychology behind all this, I think you were dead on earlier when you said we want to kind of get outside of our own lives sometimes. We wish we had other kind of lives. I think that's why people will watch these. Also, sometimes it's just fun. You know?
It is fun. It's just mindless television a lot of times, just to fill our time. But then we have to decide, you know, what do we want to put in, like we talked about. What's coming in, what's going to stay with us. So.
And there's some things we talked about, which I think bring good things in.
Agreed.
Where we learn things, as long as no one's taken advantage of in these shows. I'm for some of them. I'm not for all of them.
Well, and you never know what recipe or TikTok trick you'll pick up along the way when you're watching those, right?
Listen, y'all, the number of clients who come into me now and they say, I heard this on TikTok. And I'm on TikTok now, y'all, for this podcast. So this is groundbreaking. I'm on TikTok. Don't know how to use it. My son helps me. But if you're going to do that, make sure that it's a licensed professional that you're listening to on social media. But there's a lot of licensed professionals out there. But we digress. Diane, this has been so fun talking to you about reality TV.
I love it.
I hope you're going to come back and talk to us more.
I'll talk to you about anything, anytime.
Yes.
I love it.
I adore you.
I love you.
My good friend, I love you too. So y'all, this was the Why Did They Do That podcast. This was about reality TV and why we love it with my good friend Diane. If you liked what you heard and saw, like, subscribe, and share. Thanks, y'all. Thanks, Diane.
Anytime.